Hello again, Jesse here from the Financial Toolbox to share a study with you this week that's going to help your business tremendously. In the spirit of the World Cup, this study has to do with soccer at the highest levels of play on professional championship games for penalty kicks. In fact, this was commissioned a number of years ago to help goalies improve their odds at stopping penalty kicks. What they were finding before this study was done is that 80% of the goals were going in the net. The goalie was only able to save 20%, so they wanted to help improve those statistics. Once they drilled down on all these games at the professional levels, they determined what could help these goalies. What they were finding at the beginning is that when the goalie jumped to the left, he was saving 14% of the shots. When the goalie was jumping to the right, he was saving 12% of the shots. But the fascinating part is if they said the goalie stays in the middle, he's saving 33% of the shots at these elite games. Fascinating. But what was more fascinating is when they presented this information to the goalies, overwhelmingly they rejected the advice. Even though the empirical proof was there, they still kept staying in the middle only 6% of the time and diving to the sides 94% of the time. Now you're thinking to yourself, why on earth would they be doing this? They could double the amount of goals, more than double the amount of goals that we're saving. Well, we take a step backwards here. We understand how much money is being put towards these games and how much money these players are making in the millions of dollars with salary and bonuses. And it came down to not just performance, but reputation and image. It came down to the fact that the perception is that if they were staying in the middle, they were going to be seen as lazy. They had to justify their large salaries to the fans. This is what's called bias towards action. So the intention was, even though they knew that they could save twice the amount of goals, they decided to keep going to the sides, only saving 50% of those goals because of this bias towards action. They wanted to be seen as doing something rather than be seen as doing nothing. It's a fascinating thing. It's ultimately an attempt at effort that is this bias towards action. Now think of this for a moment. Think of how this applies to your business, because this applies everywhere. This applies to central banks when they're dealing with a crisis. This applies to CEOs when they're reacting to various things. It applies to how your clients view you in terms of your value and responsiveness. So what the takeaway is ultimately here is to resist this bias towards action, because it'll help your clients and it'll help your business. For the most part, that resistance is an important thing. I can only speak of how this works in the investment world, and if we look at what's happened in 2008, the last time the markets crashed, markets went down from 15,000 down to 7,600 points in a 6-month period in Canada. That's a 50% drop. And as we know, there's a lot of hand-holding, there's a lot of emotional upset when it came down to this. As a financial planner, you should probably have heard the same advice, but I was telling my clients, stay put. This portfolio is well diversified. It's built for the long term. In fact, why not take advantage of it and put more money in? Ultimately, that's what most of my clients did, and they did very well. But I had 3 clients that did the exact opposite. They let their emotions take the best of them. And what they did, and I understand this on an emotional level, is that they pulled out when the markets were down. The intention was when the markets would go further, they would simply put the more money back in and save some money and buy at a lower rate. But all 3 clients, what they ended up doing is they lost a tremendous amount of money. They locked in their losses, and when the markets started going up, they missed the opportunity to invest because they didn't know when to get back in. Each one lost a tremendous amount of money. And it's unfortunate when the emotions get a hold of someone, it costs them a tremendous amount. So what I invite you to do is take a look to how this bias towards action, and put it in the comments below, how this bias towards action affects your business. How does it show up not only in the business that you have, but in the businesses that you deal with? And more importantly, how, when you resist this bias towards action, do you help your clients? Share that information. I'd love to hear about it. Other people would love to hear about it. So I hope you learned something today. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Keep sending your questions in. I love answering these questions. Send it over to Jessie at jessiecristo.com. I hope you learned something today. You guys are awesome for sending this stuff in. Jessie from the Financial Toolbox, helping you with the tools that you need for better financial success. signing out.